So we have a rather high prevalence of biomedical applications here. So this is a little different. So what I'm going to do is talk about a use case and then try to draw links to some of the other efforts going on. So the use case is curing cancer, a small, unimportant, trivial sort of issue. And as it turns out, the effort to even control cancer requires a bunch of different sorts of experimentation, effort, simulation, at multiple scales, going from the molecular, the genetic, genomic, which people have been hearing about, to radiology, to tissue, to outcome. The good news is I don't have time to get into the details. So what I'll do is just give a very general sketch and then talk about some of the issues involving data analytics. Okay, so if you take these glasses and you look at them at submicron resolution, you end up with lots of exabytes, and increasingly people have been doing just that sort of thing. This is work that we did in the 90s, beginning some of this stuff, harking back to some of the talks that we heard earlier today in terms of machine learning, convolutional neural network, deep learning, and image analysis, classification. Big theme in the last 15 or so years is taking tissue and classifying the types of cancer that you're dealing with via a variety of image analysis, convolutional networks, machine learning methods, and I'm showing some sample pictures describing some of the work that our group has done along these lines, and this represents a sort of very broad community effort. So a lot of this stuff, as we all know, is extremely computationally intensive and actually increasingly extraordinarily data intensive because of the multi-exabyte glasses. As we actually begin to get data on tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of patients, and you're trying to accumulate and analyze image data, whether it's radiology or pathology, it's a huge amount of data. Also multiple types of data and very complex pipelines, both within the classification of image data, but also integrating molecular data and outcome data. And what you see here is a graphic showing some work that we did involving brain tumors, glioblastoma multiforme, linking molecular data and data from pathology and outcome. And increasingly, we're finding that you can better predict response to treatments and even design treatments via this multiple data integration. So again, it's really all the same themes that we've been talking about here. We have a new consortium funded by the National Cancer Institute to develop infrastructure and methods to do just this. So this is not actually a grant to do research. This is a grant to develop technology to help researchers do what they need to do. So the National Cancer Institute has cottoned on to the concept that we actually do need large-scale infrastructure to deal with disease, and there are now separate grants funded and consortia funded to do just that. So this is an effort that parenthetically you'll see involves Oak Ridge National Lab, Scott Klasky, Dave Pugmire's group, so it's folks from the labs. They're involved in the petascale and ultimately exascale aspects of this. Yale, Emory, StonyBrook. We have a very multidisciplinary team, and I really enjoyed the talk from the Google groups about infrastructure used to deal with very diverse sets of folks. Of course, we're one probably 100,000th the size of Google. There may be 20 or 30 of us actively working on this. We actually are very multidisciplinary, multi-language. So we're developing databases, HP infrastructure, visualization methods, and pipelines. And not only are we working with our own consortium, there's a broader group of folks who are funded through the same program, and our mandate is to develop common infrastructure for doing data capture and integration, but specifically with the focus on pathology and radiology tissue. So just for a visual image for this sort of thing, there are tremendous numbers of very small features generated here that have to be analyzed, and we carry out contests, national, international contests for folks who are competing in terms of algorithms, which also drives data storage sorts of issues. Anyway, bottom line, I think this is a really fascinating use case for development of infrastructure, and also I often, for people who know me, wear the hat as a computer science system software researcher. Here we're actually in the market looking for really good solutions from this community to build this infrastructure. Thanks.